My hope is that anyone who listens will be helped in reaching their goal in life. Is there a force, a factor, a power, a science, call it what you will, a something which a few people understand and use to overcome their difficulties and achieve outstanding success? I firmly believe that there is. I am presenting it in the language of a businessman who believes that sincere thinking and plain speaking will get any message across to the people. I realize I have run across something that is workable, but I don't consider it as anything mystical except in the sense that it is unknown to the majority of people and is little understood by the average person. I have read literally thousands of books on modern psychology, metaphysics, ancient magic, voodooism, yogism, theosophy, Christian Science, unity, truth, new thought, and many other dealings. Many of these books were nonsensical, others strange, and many very profound. Gradually, I discovered that there is a golden thread that runs through all the teachings and makes them work for those who sincerely accept and apply them. That thread can be named in a single word: belief. It is the same element or factor, belief, which causes people to be cured through mental healing, enables others to climb the ladder of success, and gets phenomenal results for all who accept it. Why belief is a miracle worker is something that cannot be satisfactorily explained, but have no doubt about it, there's genuine magic in believing. As a matter of fact, the idea that I could, with my thinking and believing, develop a fortune never entered my mind. It doesn't matter to what end this science is used, it will be effective in achieving the object of your desires. Glance around you. If you are in a furnished room, your eyes tell you that you are looking at a number of inanimate objects. That's true so far as visual perception is concerned, but in reality, you are actually looking at thoughts or ideas which have come into materialization through the creative work of some human being. It was a thought first that created the furniture, fashioned the window glass, and gave form to the draperies and coverings. The automobile, the skyscraper, the great planes that sweep the stratosphere, the sewing machine, the tiny pen, 1,001 things, yes, millions of objects. Where did they come from originally? Only one source. From that strange force, thought. As we look further, we realize that these achievements, and in fact all our possessions, came as a result of creative thinking. Thought is the original source of all wealth, all success, all material gain, all great discoveries, inventions, and of all achievements. With that in mind, it becomes easy to understand that a man's thoughts make or break him, and Shakespeare's words become more intelligible. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Many people feel that success comes with hard work. However, I would like to point out that hard work alone will not bring success. The world is filled with people who have worked hard but have little to show for it. Something more than hard work is necessary. It is creative thinking and firm belief in your ability to execute your ideas. The successful people in history have succeeded through their thinking. Their hands were merely helpers to their brains. Another important point is that one essential to success is that your desire be an all-obsessing one, your thoughts and aims be coordinated, and your energy be concentrated and applied without let-up. It may be riches or fame or position or knowledge that you want, for each person has his own idea of what success means to him. But whatever you consider it to be, you can have it, provided you are willing to make the objective the burning desire of your life. By using the dynamic force of believing, you can set all your inner forces in motion. They in turn will help you reach your goal. The first thing to determine is precisely what you want. Starting in with the general idea that you merely want to be a success, as most people do, is too indefinite. You must have a mental pattern clearly drawn in your mind. Ask yourself, where am I headed? What is my goal? Have I visualized just what I really want? If success is to be measured in terms of wealth, can you fix the amount in figures? If in terms of achievement, can you specify it definitely? I ask these questions, for in their answers are the factors which will determine your whole life from now on. Most people have a general idea that they would like to be a success, but beyond that, everything is vague. You must know where you are headed, and you must keep a fixed goal in your view. Only then will you get what you are after. You begin with desire if you ever hope to achieve anything or gain more than you have now. However, as we shall see, there is more to it than mere desire. It has been said that thought attracts that upon which it is directed. Thought attracts that upon which it is directed. Our fearful thoughts are just as creative or just as magnetic in attracting troubles to us as are the constructive and positive ones in attracting positive results. So no matter what the character of the thought, it does create after its kind. When this sinks into a man's consciousness, he gets some inkling of the awe-inspiring power which is his to use. I cling to the theory that while thoughts do create and exercise control far beyond any limits yet known to man, they create only according to their pitch, intensity, emotional quality, depth of feeling, or vibratory plane. In other words, comparable to the wavelength and wattage of a radio station, thoughts have a creative or controlling force in the exact ratio of their constancy, intensity, and power. All persons living in high altitudes have felt and sometimes observed the electric spark resulting from walking across the room, then touching some metallic substance. That, of course, is a form of static electricity generated by friction. It gives you an idea of how one kind of electricity can be developed through the body. Sigmund Freud, the famous Austrian psychoanalyst, brought the world's attention to the hypothesis that there was a powerful force within us, an unilluminated part of the mind, separate from the conscious mind, constantly at work molding our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Others have called this division of our mental existence the soul. Some call it the superego, the inner power, the superconsciousness, the unconscious, the subconscious, and various other names. It isn't an organ or so-called physical matter such as we know the brain to be. Nevertheless, it is there, and from the beginning of recorded time, man has known that it exists. The ancients often referred to it as the spirit. Paracelsus called it the will. Others have called it the mind, an adjunct to the brain. Some have referred to it as conscience, the creator of the still, small voice within. Still others called it intelligence, and have asserted that it is a part of the supreme intelligence to which we are all linked. No matter what we call it, I prefer the word subconscious, it is recognized as the essence of life, and the limits of its powers are unknown. It never sleeps, it comes to our support in times of great trouble, it warns us of impending danger, often it aids us in what seems impossible. It guides us in many ways and when properly employed, performs so-called miracles. Perhaps the most effective method of bringing the subconscious into practical action is through the process of making mental pictures, using the imagination, perfecting an image of the thing or situation as you would have it exist in physical form. This is usually referred to as visualization. Before this visualization can work, you must really believe. A firm and positive conviction that goes through every fiber of your being. When you believe it heart and soul, as the saying goes. Now call it a phase of emotion, a spiritual force, a type of electrical vibration, anything you please, but that's the force that brings outstanding results. It sets the law of attraction into operation and enables sustained thought to correlate with its object. This belief changes the tempo of the mind or thought frequency and like a huge magnet draws the subconscious forces into play, changing your whole aura and affecting everything about you and often people and objects at great distances. Many times the solution of our problems result from the use of the conscious mind. But now and then, when the solution is not forthcoming, we become exhausted with continued trying. We begin to lose confidence in ourselves, and we often resign ourselves to the idea that we have failed, that nothing can be done about it. Here is where the subconscious mind comes in. It helps us to renew our belief in ourselves. It assists us to overcome our difficulty and to put us on the road to achievement and success. Just as the conscious mind is the source of thought, so the subconscious is the source of power. Also, it is one of the greatest realities in human life. It is rooted in instinct and is aware of the most elemental desires of the individual, yet it is always pressing upward into conscious existence. It is a distinct entity. It possesses powers and functions with unique mental organization all its own. It maintains and preserves the well-being and indeed the very life of the body. Unaided by the conscious mind, in times of great emergency, it springs into immediate action, again independent of the conscious mind. It takes supreme command, acting with incredible certitude, rapidity, accuracy, and understanding in the saving of the life of the individual. It can be summoned to help the conscious mind in times of great personal necessity, when the conscious calls upon the subconscious to use its powers and resources to solve a vital problem or bring to pass that which is sought or desired by the individual. To draw upon the resources and powers of the subconscious and awaken it into action, you must first be sure that you are asking for something that is rightfully yours to have and is within your ability to handle. The subconscious manifests itself only according to the capabilities of the person. Then you must have patience and absolute faith. The subconscious mind will not take the trouble to work for those who do not believe in it. In conveying your need to the subconscious, it must be in the spirit that the work has already been done. So while it is necessary for you to feel and think yourself successful, it is important for you to go one step further and actually see yourself as already successful, either in the performance of some selected task or as actually occupying the position to which you are aspiring. For the next and final step, you must wait patiently while the subconscious is assimilating the elements of your problem and then goes about its own way to work it out for you. The solution of your problem will be revealed to you. The correct course of action will be indicated. You must follow those indications immediately and unquestioningly. There must be no hesitation on your part, no mental reservation, no deliberation. You must receive the message from the subconscious freely, and after understanding it, you must act on it at once. Only by doing that will you make your subconscious serve you and continue to respond whenever you call upon it. One day you will find yourself in the position you sought through the aid of the subconscious, and doing the work you envisioned for yourself. Then, when you look back, you will see how the things you were called upon to do all formed a logical line of events, the last one of which was your final arriving, the reward of your sincerest hopes and desires, your own triumphant personal success. To become the person that you would like to be, you create a mental picture of your newly conceived self, and if you continue to hold it, the day will come when you are in reality that person. Shakespeare said, "Assume the virtue if you have it not."
I think the hardest question a man will ever ask themselves is, what do I do with my life? And before we can even ask that question truthfully, we must first become men. But what is a man? Is it the cigar-smoking, womanizing lone wolf who doesn't take no for an answer? Is it the soft man who turns the other cheek? Is it doing one habit over another? Is it physicality? Is it violence? Is it power? I say, find out for yourself what it means to you. Only you can walk that path, and all facts or statements on what a man is really an opinion. Compared to previous times in history, where what made a man was more well-defined, we live in a world that doesn't really care for rugged individualism. We pretend we do, but all these definitions and labels we give ourselves to feel more unique are really just boxes we put ourselves into to cover the void where a true personality would be. We have left the days of the Wild West, the days of conquest and true innovation. There are no new lands to discover, no new ideas that really change the world. We are lambs in the slaughter of the modern world. Our minds, morals, our bodies are all under attack by parasites that wish to drain us of life and ambition. Everywhere we go, something or someone wants to take our energy, whether in the form of money, of time, or of emotion. So, you might be thinking, why be a man? What's the point? We don't even know what one really is anymore. But if I ever had a definition for what it is to be a man, I'd say it is the acceptance of life. Waking up every morning, and despite all the reasons not to be honest, moral, or reasonable, one decides to do so anyways. Not because of reward, not because of praise. A man simply pushes forward towards a light from within, a light that can only be discovered by silence and contemplation. A light that can only be realized when you are surrounded by darkness. We cannot truly know ourselves until we are pushed up against a wall with no chance of escape, where the only option is confrontation with the self. where all the lies we tell ourselves lose effect, and nothing but the reality of what we are remains. It is through hardship, but also through love and joy that we forge our light, so that it may grow into a fire that burns within us in every waking moment. Reducing life to its bare nature is a form of alchemy itself. We transmute the coal we are given, and we attempt to make diamonds. A diamond's beauty and value is not because it is common, but because it is rare. Many people pretend to have changed, to be reformed, but true change and catharsis is the rarest gem of all. It takes grit, and it takes soul to withstand the waves of life and remain optimistic and moral. It is so easy to slip into darkness, and to never return. But it is within darkness, within sin and suffering, that we begin to crave the light. We begin to seek purpose and strength. We begin to develop humility and understanding. Some, however, will succumb to the darkness and never return. We see many people like this today. They are ruled by their shadow, ruled by anger and false justifications. They see oppression everywhere, they feel subjugated, they feel angry. But they have not learned one of the great lessons of life. That life is hard, and it is hard for everyone. No amount of money or luxury can save you from biology, from the elements, or from oneself. They fall into the illusion of happiness and safety being out there somewhere, never seeing they are the masters of their destiny and emotions. So I will ask you, what do you fight for? Illusion or truth? Truth is the essence of God. Deceit and lies are the agents of misfortune. Just as much as cold is the absence of heat, evil alone is simply the absence of God and thus truth. But how do we know truth? This is the hardest part. We all have the innocence of the child within, and because of this, we fall for the lies we are told and buy into dysfunctional behaviors and thoughts. Most people do what they do, not because of evil, but because of innocence. The desire to be protected, to be recognized, and to be safe in some form or another can bring about the horrors of man. It seems the only way to discern truth from falsehood is to pay attention to the effect of our actions, as well as the actions of others throughout history. Actions and thoughts that bring harm to oneself and/or others cannot be truth. The fire within man is both the agent for change and the harbinger of destruction. So what is fueling your fire? A desire for power, or the desire for force? Power and force are two different things. It would serve you well to meditate on the meaning. A man wields power, a coward wields force. When nobody is looking, what do you do? When you have a chance to be petty or violent towards those weaker than you, do you take it? Do you wish to dominate others? Or do you wish to bring out the potential in yourself and those around you? These are the decisions that decide which path we are pursuing. Power or force. All great men wield power. A power of character that is unmistakable when in the presence of. A person whose fingers are grazing the infinite, and a mind that flows with the rivers of time. Modern movies and music would convince you that a man is someone who hates and dominates, who seeks wealth of material above all else. Have you ever asked why? The war of our time is not one of nations or races, but of the spirit and the direction of human consciousness. It's not hard to see that some actions and feelings are higher and stronger than others. Joy is stronger than grief, and even anger is higher than shame. With an increase in the state of consciousness, we see that certain behaviors and feelings are more in line with truth, in line with progress, and in line with God. We live in a world that's consciousness is living in anger, envy, and guilt, and we can see the results of such levels of consciousness. This is why your attention is always needed, your outrage and opinion. Why sexuality is dangled in your face, violence and desire, choices and endless choices that don't really matter. Because if you are always wanting, always competing, and always pointing the finger elsewhere, you can never look within. How many of us are living in hell right now, residing in fear and hatred, wants that cannot be and desires that torture our minds? This kind of mindset is beneficial to our controllers, to be distracted with the illusion of political parties and race and gender. The hidden hand wishes for our complete enslavement to the material world and its traps. Love is the only way out. Love is not just platonic. Love is attention and focus. And many people do not realize how much love there really is. With the right mind, we can see love in many things. If our minds and hearts are open, we can see that a box made with love gives off an unmistakable energy, whereas something made robotically will lack this. All things give forth an intense aliveness, but those made and cared for with love give off an unmistakable aura. We have all felt the love of a pet, the kind words of a stranger, or the caring touch of another. It is in those moments we feel at peace, and feel the force that is love, that is God. It is never separate from you. It is always within. These words are not meant, however, to deflect from our current reality. We must learn to defend ourselves in idea and in body. We must try and protect those that cannot protect themselves. Because in the end, you may abandon your body, but you must not abandon your honor. These concepts are abstract, of course, but when felt they are more real and transcendent than reality itself. If we do not stick to our word and honor ourselves and our convictions, we are nothing but beasts. If we do not protect those weaker or show mercy, how can we truly be strong? We live in a time where we are pushed to think like animals but expected to act as humans. I say accept you are both, but live for the latter. Shame and guilt are tools of the ego. Even when you blame and put yourself down, you are really juicing your ego and the illusion it provides. They did this, they did that, I am right, and they are wrong. All of this gives us a kick of sorts. Part of the process of becoming a man is to stop feeling bad for yourself. Look for the lesson and stop blaming others as though it will change anything. It is childish and self-defeating. Even if every desire you ever had was satisfied, every wish granted, you would still be left wanting. True satisfaction is not possible in this world. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, accept the role you have here and do your best. When do we stop and take time to look at a tree? Look into the sky and feel the sun. How much do we stop all distractions and just be with the moment we are in? These things are the genius of a child and those who are among the dying. Acceptance of the present and the acknowledgement of the eternal moment. So I dare you to find out what you are through trial and error, joy and pain. Be fluid, be open of heart and mind. Protect what cannot protect itself and be a servant of truth. All it takes is intention and small steps every day. You don't need to change the world or leave a legacy. You don't need to be rich or be feared by others. You don't need to be big or strong. You only need the fire, one that will push through all darkness and one that warms the hearts of those around you. Like a moth to a flame, purpose will find you. Happiness, joy, and love are all within you. They do not need to be found. So don't worry so much. Dream up a good life and enjoy the process. It may seem hard, but I know you can do it.